Cool. So one such time you might want to use something like that might be if you're doing some sort of tile-based thingy and you want to have kind of complex logic to things. So we'll do a similar setup here. In fact, that'll probably be easier to make it again. So I'll put that inside there. And I don't think I need to link it this time because it's nothing to do with physics. Whoa. There you go. And we have a copy over here. Oh, we'll group them. And we'll make this a different color. This time we use, because the idea is we'll like hover over different tiles on a map and it'll change accordingly. So I'll use the grab sensor, which also has we'll need to link it up like that. Which also has a hovered output. And for now, I'll just plug it into the glow and we'll have it modulate, so that multiplies the signal coming in by the value on the slider. So now if I play time, then when you're hovering over it, it kind of glows. But say you wanted something more complex in here, like you want some menus and some other controls and stuff, then you'd have it in here and you'd emit that. Make sure the grid is on. And emit that object with no speed and once. And we'll move it over. Oh, maybe it's because it's on X-ray mode. So because this is open, you get like a faded box of that, of the chip, which covers this because X-ray mode is on. That's going to emit that version. Now I need X-ray on again. X-ray off again. And you have an emitter. And you want that to emit that. And turn X-ray. Oh, X-ray's off. Put that in the center of there. That should be fine. So now when we hover over it, we'll turn this glow off. Then it will replace it with the other one. We don't have a starting point yet. So another thing you could do is we need that. Is to use like a placeholder thing. Normally you'd like have this in a separate element and then you'd import it in, and then you can later on edit that separate element and then update it in here and they'll all update. But for testing I use these placeholders. So in this case we want to emit that object there and destroy itself. So we can place these placeholders and be able to easily see where they will go, but it'll like replace itself with the real version over here. So if we actually make it grey like that, and give a destroyer as well. Now when we play time, no, that didn't work because this is off. Now when we play time, it gets replaced by this version. So it looks like a grey piece, and then we play time, and we get this special version with this stuff in it. Which then should... we need the destroyer on there as well. So we power that. And we'll just turn that emitter off. So we hover over it and it's got this other version. So yeah, so that could be like that could have a controller sensor in it. On remote controllable, so that you don't have to possess the object. And we'd use, we'd like have, yeah, so let's import a little house or something. So say this is for a city builder or something. That'll do. So then when you press a certain button, so when you press square maybe, then you have another emitter. So let's put this in a chip so we can emit and destroy at the same time. Put that on that, and then we power the chip. So when the chip is powered, then that will be powered and emit the thing. And also the destroyer will be powered. And we want that to link to that. I'll move the original way over here. And you can move this whole thing to put it in place of this tile. Let's move that out of the way. And if you had like grid stuff on and that, then this would be easier. But I think that should be, I'll make it, there we go. So it kind of fits inside, there we go. Okay, so when you press square, then it does that. Otherwise, we want to do something else. Like if we stop hovering over it, there will be a problem, and it will fix the problem. So grab sensor. So when we stop, when we're not hovering over it, then we'll go back to the original dead state, which is this version over here. So, we want that in a chip as well. Put that in there, get another destroyer, and power that. Now there'll be a bug, and we'll have a look at fixing it. So I'll go away. Oh, it's not doing it at all. I think we powered that off. Is that powered on? Yep. So again, let's copy that out and figure out what's going on. I think it's got both of them emitted in the same thing. Yeah, so the problem is it starts as being on. Let's make this original one green, so it's really obvious. Okay. Yeah, so it's immediately getting replaced. So let's put it. I need to do that, and then I'll play time while hovering over it. It still gets replaced because there's like a frame at the beginning or something where it's not hovering, or it doesn't realize it's hovering. So to fix that in another thing, I had a short timer that turned it on after a second. Maybe this needs to use the actual let's just see what that's doing. Play test. Yeah, so that's hovering. Yeah, so now that's working. Okay, so let's go back to this version. And make sure that's applied to the sculpt. Yeah, it's still doing that thing. So let's have the timer. To power the NOT gate. So now it's staying red, and then I hover it over something else, and then it changes back. Just to be sure, because it looked a bit funny, I will I think that's not linked up properly. That's probably why it's not working. Oh, that's better. So maybe we remove that now. Yep. Okay, so the problem was the microchip wasn't linked up properly. Cool. So you have that, and then we'll test out this square button thing. So hover over this, press square, and now it's a house. So you might have this kind of animate being built or something like that in your game. And let's grab a different house maybe. That's probably going to be huge, right? By animation. Pretty nice. So let's make this another option. The good thing about this as well is that because those roofs, gotta love the roofs. Oh, that will be a problem. Right there. So the advantage of using an emitter to place these buildings is that you don't have to have a copy of all these buildings in each of the tiles, each of these live tiles to turn on and off. You can just emit them so that you only have the copies you need, kind of thing. So if we just copy that and change that, and let's move that out of the way. So I want to emit that. There we go. And I'll just move the dot. Like that. And wire that up to a different button. So maybe you press circle and it makes the cute little house. So square and circle. Awesome. So now I'll delete that. now we have a very simple tile that we can lay about the whole place, and then when necessary, just move that over there as well. When necessary, it turns into a live tile that we can interact with, and then it'll delete this and all the logic inside it completely and replace it with this other building and whatever logic that comes with. So we can copy this thing or this placeholder thing like tons and tons of times, and until necessary it will be very cheap on thermo memory. So we can do that. We can do that. So now you can hover over any of these, and it'll probably lower this time so that it only waits 0.1 second. Okay, and now I'll make some buildings. I'll actually move the emit points so that they kind of appear on top, so that we don't have to. Oh yeah, a trick is to, if you have the tweak menu open for the emitter, it gives you a preview of what you're going to be emitting, so it's useful. And put that on top as well. And now we can just go like that and make our little kingdom. And because it's because of the way we've done it, so you can see the thermo going up. So it's down. It's only 11%, and as we're hovering over there, it's like getting up very slightly. But then when you make a thing, it's going up just for that instance, and it's only got that instance there. Nothing else is in that spot, which makes it very efficient compared to other methods. And then that one costs 4%. Wow. So there's a lot of individual objects in that group, which is why there's a load of gameplay to it. But yeah, so as you add a load, then it's adding things to that. And then if you had some logic on these ones that said if you hover and press triangle or something, then it will delete it and replace it with one of these. Oh, it's gone now. One of those basic blocks, and you can make something else in there. Stuff like that. Oh, that's interesting. Cool.